Eddie, Stipe.
Stipe's like, I think I called the wrong number.
No, we got Stipe here, and he should be wearing the belt, not you, Jay. So
hey, I won the people.
We'll
I'm the people's champ for the rest of the day for winning the poll. Stipe, my man, how are you, brother?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Man,
we're better now. We're better now. Much better now. I'm sure when you're hearing that song, you literally had to. What were you thinking? You come on the show, the first thing you hear is some dude singing a song. What are you thinking? I called the wrong number.
I mean, I don't know. I thought maybe he was like staring at me before I got on. I didn't know. Like, I don't like if you guys do. Like, I don't know, just warming me up. I don't know. It's it was a lot.
Hey, bro, you can't warm no MMA fighter up. Like that ain't gonna work.
Oh no,
right. That definitely would have been like I'd have clicked off. I ain't gonna lie. I probably clicked off.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking with us through that. Hey, first of all, for the fans that aren't sure, tell us what you're doing, what's next for you, and the big fight on the horizon that you're going to be paying close attention to because it likely will have something to do with your future.
Yeah, just everyday Joe, just working at the fire station full time now. It's doing great. My hardest job is being a parent. I wish it came with a manual. Unfortunately, it does not. And it's very at times. The kids' emotions. I love it, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, you guys are crazy, and I get where they get it. I'm crazy, so I get where they get it from. But it's the best blessing in the world. But that's like the funnest part is being a parent, and and my family, and that's pretty much just working out, training, and then they got the fight coming up in March, Jones versus Gane. And I probably like the winner of that one in July would be fantastic. So we'll see.
Well, the winner of that fight, Jones is moving up in weight class. How hard is that to do? We look at it in boxing. Sometimes when you drop in weight class, you lose a little bit of your power. If you put on weight, you lose a little bit of your quickness, your speed, maybe some of your agility. What does that look like when you're trying to move up weight classes, and do you think that it'll affect him in this upcoming matchup?
That's a good question. I mean, he's one of the best of all time, and I've seen other guys go up and they haven't done well. But he's had a lot of time off to work on his. He didn't gain a lot of weight all at once. He gained it over time, and he's been training with big guys. And I think we'll see. I think it's just how his body adapts, and some people are different. I haven't had a chance to do that. I've been heavyweight my whole life, so strong. So it really changed.
Me too, but my heavyweight a little different to yours. Mine is a little extra, like what I'm saying. But
there's no weight cap on your.
No.
Hey, Stipe, how do you see this fight playing out?
I don't know. I mean, I'm terrible at that stuff. If I was good at it, I'd be betting a lot, which we're not allowed anymore. But I never do. But I'll be a matchmaker. Honestly, I don't know. I just. Jones is so good at everything, but so is Gane, and he's been in some wars already, and he knows what to expect. And he fought Francis, and Francis got the power. Now Jones hasn't got the power that Francis does, but Jones has got a lot of other things that Francis doesn't have. So it's just you got to lean towards Jones just because what he's done, how great he is, but at the same time, he's moving up a weight class against a very, very great opponent.
Wasn't it a point where you and Johnny was supposed to fight, and what happened with that? Because I'm pretty sure.
Like 75 times, and just never happened.
Is that his fault?
What is this? What's going
I don't know.
on?
I mean, I never back away from a fight. One time I said, hey, listen, I'm down to fight. Just give me a little time. I got a lot going on. And like, no problem. And a few times I'm like, yeah. And then within a day, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And then I would moved on. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, sweet. And then it happened again. And then, like, cool. I'm like, awesome. Well, I just, like, you get me all ready and revved up, and then you say, now we're good.
He's ducking you, bro. He's ducking you.
He definitely ducking you then.
I don't know. Like, I just say I'm good. No, I just, like, I don't know. I don't think he's ducking me. I mean, I wish he was, right? But, yeah, I just, like, the one, like, this game versus Jones, I said I'd take the fight, and then I wake up in the middle of the night to Jones versus Gane. I'm like, oh, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm not fighting in March.
You know what? One thing that's always amazed me about you, Stipe, is that when you look at the typical profile of these fighters, they're angry, they're brash, they're bold, they're loud, they're cocky, they call out their opponents, they tell them what they're going to do to them. In the meantime, I think you have more successful title defenses in your class than any other fighter ever to do it. And for that, I'm just using you as the standard. But that's not you. You're not loud. You're not bold. You're not brash. You're not cocky. Have you ever thought to yourself that in a showman's game that perhaps that's hindered you a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely if I was more loud and bold and cocky and call people out, yeah, I mean, definitely I probably would have made more money. But to me, it's not even about the money. I love what I do. Don't get messed up, though. I do love the money. but you know, yeah, I mean, I was not how I was raised. You know, my mom, I think, you know, my mom taught me, you know, respect, you know, your opponent, and my father too. And I just think that, you know, and plus I got too many other things to worry about, man. Like I got my kids, I got my family, I got cut the grass, gonna plow driveways. I mean, there's like gotta work.
Grass.
Hey, man.
No other UFC fighter is cutting their own grass and working full time at the firehouse.
It's therapeutic for me, you know. I'm driving and just, you know, I annoyed my wife somehow, so I'm trying to get out of the house. So it gives me a good 2-3 hours of just not get in trouble anymore.
Man, I hope you got a riding line more.
Oh yeah, I do. I got a nice Cupcake at 0 turns, please.
Yeah, Cleveland product.
Stipe, you know, you became the champ at a time where I don't think the Cavs had one, right? They had won their championship.
No, Stipe was the first one to bring a championship.
Yeah. How does that feel to be able to say that? You know, we was in a drought.
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, and just how everything happened. You know, that year with the Cavs and even the minor league team, the Monsters, they won the Calder Cup, and then the Indians, well, the Guardians now, but they were, you know, one game away. I mean, it was like that. It was just what an amazing, like, let's see, 5 or 6 months it was of just 4 or 5 months of just sports in Cleveland. It was amazing. You know, it was like the craziest time of my life because I got married and, you know, everyone just enjoying just going to the games. It was, oh man, I can't explain. Just there's always something going on. It was awesome. I did seeing the city together like that was amazing.
Stipe, you know, I look at it like this. You know, when you watch boxing, you watch UFC. Obviously, UFC is more of a popular sport right now than boxing is. There's a couple names in boxing we want to see, but then you gotta wait for those guys to get up all through the ranks and win. And one thing that I see that I just don't believe and I can't understand is the levels at which you guys are compensated based on popularity, based on the level of strenuous work that you got to do to put your bodies through certain things like this. Just the risk overall. If there was anything that you can change about the compensation model in UFC, what would it be, and what way would you go about trying to implement that in order to get fighters what I believe there is their fair share of the pie?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, if you look at the NBA, NFL, I think MLB, I think, you know, the revenue is like split in half. You know, half goes to MLB and then half goes to the major, you know, MLB teams and whatever the players and stuff like that. I think that, you know, if we get more of a percentage of the revenue, I think it would be a lot easier. But, you know, listen, I'm not the businessman. I don't know what's going on, what bills they have to pay, but, you know, I think we only make it's like 18 to 19% of the revenue instead of, you know, like 49 to 50% of what the other, you know, high level professional organizations have, like NBA and NFL. So I think, you know, if they would have brought that up, I think it'd be a lot easier.
And do you guys, I'm not sure about this, and let our viewers know, do you guys have a union? Do you have anything, like, do you get, like, so after you're done, you're a UFC fighter, are you still responsible for figuring out your own health care after that? How does that work?
Yeah. I mean, they have the healthcare while we fight and stuff like that. It's, you know, just for the fighters itself, not so much the family. You know, but, you know, after a fight, you know, you have like, I mean, they have like a planning union when you're not in camp if you get hurt. But, you know, everything's usually taken care of even during fight camps and stuff like that. They're good about that. But, yeah, there's nothing really after. You know, that's why I'm very good with my money, and I'm very, very, very stingy on stuff. And I want to keep my money. It's not so much for me. I want my kids when they get older and have life themselves. And so, but yeah, that's why I became a fireman as well. I love what I do being a fireman, but also, God forbid something happens to me, at least my family will be taken care of. They have the benefits, that the pension and stuff like that.
It really is remarkable when you consider the risk that they put themselves in every single time they go into that ring. And we've talked about the risk that football players. It almost seems like the professional sports model is upside down. Yeah. The riskier the sport, the less the athlete is taken care of. I don't think there's anything more risky than what a UFC fighter does. And then maybe next after that is football, and their contracts aren't guaranteed. And we've talked about the issues that their union has. Is this ever going to change, or does Dana just have this thing on such lockdown? He's almost built the model where he just washes the stars out, and it's like an assembly line. Okay, who's next? If you don't want to do it, who's next? That's kind of what it feels like as a fan.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. There's always someone stepping in the back, waiting for their turn. Who knows? I don't know what their plan is, but I know we don't have a union, and it's still relatively new to what football and baseball. They've been around for so long, and so I mean, eventually I think something will come about. I think, but not anytime soon, just because it's still trying to figure it out. Because even if they did have a plan to do a union, it'll still take years to implement it and to get people where they want to get. Just people that need to be hired to do the right things. And so I think I think eventually over time, yes, but I don't know when.
Do you ever have any second thoughts or regrets that you've gone down this road? Have you seen your either mental health or your physical health decline in any way or maybe even you project what it's going to be when you're 50? Have you had a second thought yet, or would you do all this all over again?
I do it all over again. I mean, it's not even about me. It's about my family. Make sure they're taken care of. Make sure that they have a house to sleep under. Have food. And even though my kids, I might have to fight again just because my kids eat so much damn food. For a year and a half, I'm like, how are you guys? You literally garbage disposals. Like, how do you eat so much food? I thought I ate a lot, and they put me to shame. But no, yeah. I mean, I would never change. I love it. Me and my wife, even before we had our kids, and we were married and stuff. We had a great time. We got to see the world. We got to do amazing things. With the UFC, they do a lot of good things, like precautionary wise. With testing and stuff like that. I do CAT scan, MRI, stuff like that. Make sure I'm good. And, they're not going to put you in there like, hey, we want you to fight because we want you to have brain damage. No, they take it like very serious about it. And a lot of people think I have I'm punch drunk because the way I talk. I'm like, well, I don't know if you know me, but I've been talking like this for 40 years of my life, so nothing's going to change. I've actually gotten better at talking since I've been fighting. So,
Stipe, how old are your kids now?
My daughter's a little over 4, and my son's about a year and a half.
Oh,
it won't be long before they're going at it on the floor. You know they're going to start rolling around and throwing hands.
Oh yeah, they already are, and I really try to keep my kids away from the whole fighting aspect. I want them to learn it, but I don't want them to learn it right now because you gotta learn how to defend yourself. But my daughter kind of figured out the one day when I turned on the TV and she saw me punching a guy in the face. I'm like, oh, all right, put my head down. Like, Daddy, I'm like, no. And then one day,
why did you get that man?
I was like, oh, what are the chances? On ESPN, they're showing a retake, and I look up and I'm like, oh. She was laughing. She loved that.
You told me not to hit my brother.
Yeah, you told me not to hit him.
I know, but one thing about my daughter, she's very sweet and she's very loving. So that's one thing I care. She's a good kid. She's very caring for others. So that's all I care about. As long as my kids grow up and they're good people, and they show good things towards people. That's all I care about. They're loving towards everyone. No matter if they're good or bad to them, just still just show them kindness. That's all I care about. But my son, though, I was actually doing pad work a couple weeks ago, and he walked downstairs and he just goes, "Oh, Dad!" He looks at Dada, and he looks at the bag and starts hitting the bag, going boom, boom. I'm like, here we go. I was like,
Stipe, can you? I think a lot of times people don't get it. Can you walk us through a day in your life as far as your regiment? You go to work. What do you do? What is your training like? and the work you got to put in to be able to stay. Because I'm going back to what Jay says. Like, I mean, when you're a professional athlete, your body is your temple. You have to work with, but you got a regular job. What is your routine like with training, work, and the kids to get yourself to be able to still be a top-notch athlete?
Well, it starts with my wife. My wife, she's a captain of the ship. She's the one that really, she gets it, and I'm very lucky to have such an amazing wife to do that. She's like, all right, listen, it's game time. You got to train, then you take your nap, and then you got to train again. I get it. She's like, sure. So we're lucky too because we have family close by, so they help out a lot. Come over, watch the kids, and so in the morning I'll train. Come home, take a nap. Usually nap with my son or my daughter if they're home. And then I'll train again at night. And then at work, if I do train, I'll usually just train once, either get a cardio in or a lift, depending what it is. And then, but also, I'm 40, I also listen to my body. I've been doing it for so long. It's like tying your shoe, or riding a bike. The more times you do it, the easier it gets. And you kind of know your body and how to adjust faster and how to, get in better shape. And, I'm definitely stronger than I have been. I'm way more than I have been. I feel great. I feel like I'm moving faster. And I think it's just a mentality thing. I think the minute you stop moving is that's when a lot of people start falling apart.
Oh, isn't that the truth? Our producer, McNuggets, has some questions for you. And then I'm going to ask you, he's about 145 pounds, maybe $150. I see him in the gym a lot, though. How long could he last in the ring if he just ran from you? Like, how long would it take before you caught him?
Before you answer that,
and turned his lights out.
Before you answer that, Big Dan Mergliata was my Little League coach growing up, so I have some experience with some UFC referees here. So just be careful before you answer that.
He's a great guy.
You want to see him back in the day? We actually got a picture. Take this full.
Yeah.
You want to see Dan back from like 2001?
Look at that.
You guess Big Dan's in the middle. That's my dad to the right, and then I'm on the bottom row in between Big Dan's two kids. So, yeah, me and Big Dan go way back. So before Stipe, now that I know Big Dan, how long could I run around from you in the ring?
Listen, dude, we do some side hustle. I can let you last as long as you want. Make it look good.
Thank you. All right, some real questions.
5 seconds
Stipe.
is the answer.
Yeah.
I'll take 5 seconds. But Stipe grew up big UFC fan. What was it like for you to fight at Quicken Loans Arena in front of the Cleveland hometown fans, getting that opportunity to kind of put on a show in front of the city that you were born in?
To be honest, it was a little I guess nerve-wracking. I don't know if it was nerve-wracking. I was nervous just because it was in Cleveland, but yeah, I tell my wife this all the time. Like, I don't know if I want to fight there again because one, like, it's so funny. People find out, your friends are like, "Oh God, Cleveland," and you have people calling you and talk to you in like 6-7 years, and like, "Dude, what's up with tickets?" Like, I'm like, I feel like I was a ticket master. I'm like, dude, I'm like, well, here's a link you can buy tickets from. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I have no hope. Honestly, Cleveland was so it was amazing. Like, I don't get emotional before a fight ever, and I was walking out and hearing that crowd scream. I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it, just listening to the crowd go crazy. I couldn't catch my breath. And the only good thing that happened in that fight was when he knocked me down because I put everything back into perspective. I'm like, I'm in a fight, enough of this, emotional stuff. And then thank God I won. And then after the fight, people screamed my name and places going nuts and wild. And it meant a lot to me. And it was funny. Like 2-3 days later, I was like just trolling the internet. I was on YouTube and I saw some clip from it. I got from someone's camera phone and. I started crying, and my wife walked over. She's like, "Oh, honey, it's okay." I'm like, "Get away from me! It's something in my eye." I was so
You're crying.
That's true.
Oh yeah, it was honestly, it was something you dream about. Honestly.
And Stipe, going through the highlights yesterday, putting together this video, I forgot how many awesome knockouts you had. Do you have a favorite knockout through your career, one that stands out above the rest that just hit clean or kind of meant a little more?
I think every knockout's the best because I win. So, I mean, of course, Overeem and Cleveland getting knocked down, getting back up, and getting after them. That was awesome when I was on top of them. And then I think the second DC fight, I think I started terrible and I was so slow, and he just kind of beat me up, and then I started going to the body, and then I caught him with that right hand and dropped him. That was it was nice. That was one of good, and then maybe the first time I won the title. See, I can keep going on for days. Like, I can pick one to pick. And put
They're all the best, like you said. I get it. Well, I have knockout power, too, in my hands. I know what you mean.
Yeah, Mikey's known as a knockout guy. Stipe, one last question before we go. all fighters, most fighters anyhow, seem to have that rage that's just sitting on their shoulder all the time. I always just think back to Mike Tyson, watching him when he was coming up. He was rage-filled. And a lot of these guys have that, that motivation wherever it comes from. Where does your motivation come from? Because outside the ring, you're the nicest guy in the world. You're soft-spoken. I'm sure you hold doors for everybody. You're this kind guy. But when the bell rings and the fight starts, I do see something come over you in your face where you suddenly look like Rocky chasing a chicken. Like now you're mad. Where does that come from? How do you drum that up inside?
It's it's like a light switch. A lot of people, it's so funny because people talk to me, they're like, "Oh my gosh, so nice," and then they watch me, they're like, "What happened to you? You look like a psycho." But no, honestly, I think the main thing of it is that I am a competitor. I don't like to lose. I like to win. If it's me walking down the street, I'll beat you walking down the street. I like winning. I don't like losing. I like to be very competitive. I don't take it to the extreme with my friends like that, but in a fight, it's fight or flight. Either the guy's going to beat me up or I'm going to beat him up, and I don't like to get beat up.
For charity, McNuggets just got in my ear and said that he will put on headgear and get in the ring with you and take a punch from you.
No, not in the head.
Right.
One of those stomach.
Dude, he'll fold you so hard if he hit you to the body.
Well, he'd decapitate me if he hit me in the head. I'd rather
Take it
do
to the
a
head, man,
busted
because you can have a
spleen in the
headgear
head.
on.
Yeah,
No, one of the body protectors.
Wow.
Stipe knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, like
Yeah,
this.
they want to
I think I can last a minute.
You're not lasting a minute.
think I'll make it
Stop
a
it.
minute.
Hey, one last question. I lied. You are a hell of a baseball player. So what if you had decided, you know what, it's not going to be wrestling and then ultimately UFC, it's going to be baseball. How would your life be different today? Could you have made the big leagues, do you think?
I don't know if I did, but I would have probably a lot more money. But
He's not bitter or anything.
He's the best in the world, and he has to say that. That kills me.
That's crazy.
That kills me, man.
no, it's all good. No, if it went that way, it would have went that way. But honestly, I'm not complaining at all. I have a great life. I have a beautiful family, I have beautiful children, I have an amazing wife. And listen,
You think you'd have made the big leagues?
Who knows? Probably not, because there's so many players and everyone can throw the ball far and hit the ball hard, and they're just as big as me. So who knows? Just if it was a lucky, maybe like me a lucky day I get in, maybe not. But yeah, no, I'm never what I mean. I got looked at, but that's about it. Nothing more.
Well, never look back and no regrets, because in our eyes, you're the best to ever do it. Mm-hmm. More successful title defenses than anyone in the absolute beast class, in the absolute beast sport on the planet. So you're always good with us. Stipe, good luck down the road.
Appreciate you.
I can't wait to see you in the octagon again. It's going to be great, and I hope it's Jones, and I hope you kick his ass.
Hey, no problem. I will, and I appreciate you guys having me on. This is awesome.
Always
The
good.
76th time is the charm for you and him. 76th time. Don't happen.
You can run, but you can't hide.
I'm going to call Dana White up. I'm going to promote you. I'm going to be the Don King. I don't want that much. I ain't going to take your money, though. But just get this man some checks.
Yes.
We got to get these checks.
G. Bush is a hell of a hype man.
And if you're ever downtown, Stipe, and want to stop by the studio, you're more than
Yeah,
welcome.
come downtown to the studio
Yeah,
anytime.
100%. All you guys know for sure. 100%. I love the setup. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's fun. We'll have fun when you come in. Stipe, thanks, man.
Appreciate you.
We'll even let you hit McNuggets here when you come in.
Done. I got a story. Stipe, thanks again, Stipe.